You were dropping off some mail that I guess the carrier had mistakenly left in your mailbox. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So what exactly was in this mail?
I think it was just a few envelopes, but I didn't really carefully inspect the mail or anything like that.
So then why the urgency to drop off this mail? You couldn't wait until they got home?
I guess I could have. It wasn't like it was a plan or anything. I just had their mail and I thought I should just drop it off, that's all.
So that was it?
That was it.
All right, well, Janice, is there anything else that you feel I should be aware of at this point in time? Anything at all?
Well, actually, when I entered the house, I looked around and I saw Daniel's body in the bedroom. But I didn't think it was a good idea for me to tell you that.
You didn't think it was a good idea to tell me something so important?
That would have put me at the scene of the crime, right? You know I'm a convicted felon. I didn't want you guys to think that I did it.
Okay, Janice, that is a major omission. So you lied to me.
I know, I'm sorry. I wasn't thinking straight.
Well, was he dead?
Yes.
Did you kill him?
No, I did not kill Daniel.
So you're telling me that Daniel was already dead when you entered that home and you did not kill him?
That's what I'm telling you.
Now, Janice, are you sure that you have told me everything?
Yes.
You're sure?
I'm pretty sure, yes.
All right, well, let's get you out of here for now. Well, that was unexpected. I can't believe that she withheld that info from us.
Are you leaving him?
That definitely doesn't help her case or my suspicions of her.
Are you alright?
Now, assuming that she's telling the truth,
I gotta go.
we are clearly just scratching the surface here.
Look, I said we can talk later.
All right, I'm going to bring in Rebecca Humphreys, Emma and Charles's kid.
Okay, I got you.
She's the only potential witness to the domestic abuse, so I'd like to see what she's got to say.
Okay.
All right, let me go get her. You'll see us in just a few. Bye. All right, Rebecca, we are recording. Today is September 19th. I am Detective Martin Ruiz, badge number 7621. And with me here today is Rebecca Humphreys. So, Rebecca, can you please spell your first and last name for me?
Yeah, first name is Rebecca. Last name Humphreys, Humphreyes.
Thank you, and can you please acknowledge that this statement is being video and audio recorded and that you consent to this recording?
Yes, I do.
And lastly, just acknowledge that we have already gone over your rights and that you are willfully making this statement.
Yes, I am.
All right, Rebecca, let's start with you telling me where you were at the day of Daniel's death.
Yeah, so that day I was over at my dad's house.
So you were at your dad's house, but you don't live with your dad, do you?
No, I don't, but I do stay with him sometimes.
And you were there the whole day?
Yeah, I don't really remember any reason to leave that day.
So can you remind me, how old are you?
I'm 20.
So you're 20.
Mm-hmm.
And you are a student at Fisham Community College, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
So you didn't have any classes that day?
Well, I mean, yeah, I did, but I had a very important paper that was due for my intro to psych class the next day, so I decided to stay home and focus on that instead, since my other classes weren't important.
Now, your dad, he wasn't at home, right? He was at work?
Yeah, that's right. He usually doesn't get home until late in the evening.
So is there anyone that can corroborate that you were at your dad's house the whole day?
I mean, like, sort of. I work at the main coffee shop at the school, and I had texted one of my coworkers asking if he could cover my shift for that day.
So you didn't go to work that day either?
No, I didn't. Like I said, I wanted to focus on my paper.
Now, I'm going to ask you a question, and please be honest, okay? Please. Do you think that either of your parents had something to do with Daniel's murder?
No, of course not.
Now, I'm not asking you if they killed him, just if they may have possibly had some involvement. Now, based on the history, you don't think that that's possible?
No, absolutely not. Like, no, I know my parents. It's not possible.
Okay. So how long have you been living with Daniel and your mom?
We officially moved in like about a month ago or so, but my mom had practically been like living over there like 3 or 4 months before that.
And you were aware that there had been some domestic issues during that time between Daniel and your mom, correct?
Yeah.
Can you elaborate?
Well, first off, I want to like make sure that you know that the domestic issues, as you put it, weren't happening the whole time that I've been living there. It was kind of all recent, actually.
Sure. Gotcha. So yeah, please continue.
So, like, it's pretty straightforward, but I want to say like about a week and a half ago, I was in my room reading, and I heard some screaming and yelling and banging, and I went down to the kitchen, and I found my mom on the floor crying, and she was just obviously like in a lot of pain. And she was grabbing her right arm, and just her and Daniel had gotten into some sort of an argument, and he pushed her to the ground like pretty damn hard.
So did you see him push her to the ground?
No, I didn't, but it was pretty obvious that that's what had happened.
Now, is this the only incident that you were aware of?
As far as I know, yeah. That's as far as I'm aware.
Now, this incident landed your mom in the hospital. I mean, she has a dislocated elbow.
Yeah, I know, I'm aware. I know.
You don't think that maybe your mom would want to seek some sort of revenge?
No, my mom wouldn't seek revenge. Like, you do know that she's the one who filed the police report, right?
Yes, I am aware of that.
Okay, so why would she file a police report if she was planning on killing him? Like, she wanted the police to get involved. That's literally the whole reason why she went to the police in the first place. She wanted them to deal with it.
All right, well, then what about your dad?
What about him?
Well, it seems that he and your mom are still on pretty decent terms, I mean, all things considered. It seems that he still cares for her. You don't think that maybe he acted out of a need to protect her?
No, absolutely not.
How can you be so sure?
Because I know my dad, like, that's not even close to the kind of person that he is. Like, he's not a murderer. Like, I don't even, like, I can't believe I even have to, like, say that to you.
Look, Rebecca, I know that this can be hard. Okay, I know that, but we have to think logically, right? Now, try to put your personal feelings aside as best as you can, all right? Now, do you really believe that your parents had nothing to do with Daniel's murder?
No, my parents had nothing to do with Daniel's murder. There's no way.
All right, fair enough. So look, we're going to take a short break, all right? Just going to ask that you sit here, and I'll be back in just a few, okay?
Okay.
Alright, so there's still a lot to unpack here. But the main thing I really want to know right now is if you think she really believes her parents had nothing to do with Daniel's death. I mean, I know they're her parents and all, but the motivation is pretty easy to spot, especially when it comes to her mom. I just can't tell if she's being honest or if she's blowing smoke up her ass. Look it over and tell me what your read is on her. Let me know if you think she really believes they had nothing to do with it. We'll go from there. Alright. Bye. Hey, so you think she's being sincere? I can see that. She does seem to believe her parents weren't involved. Now, whether they were or not, that's a whole other story. All right, let me get back in there. Bye.
Okay, this is a continuation with Rebecca Humphreys. So look, Rebecca, I do believe that you think your parents had nothing to do with Daniel's murder, okay? I do believe that.
Mm-hmm.
But look, we still cannot ignore the facts, okay? We can't. Now, are you aware that your dad was seen entering and leaving Daniel's house the day of the murder?
No, I didn't know that. I wasn't aware of that fact, no.
Yeah, the whole thing was caught on security cam.
Mm-hmm.
So now with this new information, does that change your perspective at all?
No, not at all. I mean, if my dad was seen entering the house that day, then I'm sure he has a perfectly good reason for it, but murder's definitely not the reason. It doesn't make any sense. It can't be.
All right, so Rebecca, look, so if your parents were not involved and you were at your dad's house the whole day, then you tell me, what is your theory on what happened to Daniel?
Look, I don't know. I don't know, okay? I really don't. What I do know is that Daniel wasn't this perfect guy that everybody seems to think that he was. I mean, he had two personalities. Sure, everybody saw the clean-cut business guy, but behind closed doors, it was a completely different story.
What do you mean?
I mean, he was mentally unstable, okay? He could be a real piece of shit, especially when he was drinking. Probably got really drunk, got all depressed, and then just shot himself. I mean, I could see that happening. Have you guys ever considered that maybe nobody actually killed Daniel?
Yes, Rebecca, of course we've considered that. We've considered all possibilities.
Okay, then, I really don't know what to tell you, because that's all I can think of. I don't know.
So there's nothing else that you feel that I should know?
No, not that I can think of, no.
All right, well then let's take a break, all right? You can step out of here for now, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, we've heard from everyone that we brought here today. There's still lots of things that aren't adding up or that simply don't make any sense at all. And, most importantly, we still don't know exactly what happened to Daniel. I think it's time we turned up the heat. Start poking some holes. I'm going to get Emma back in here first for another round. Let's see what we can squeeze out of her. I'll be back in the interview room with her in just a sec. All right. Bye.
All right, this is a continuation with Emma Richardson. Now, Emma, I've been giving some thought regarding your whereabouts on the day of Daniel's murder, and just to be clear, you were at the Best Day Motel the entire day, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So you didn't leave at all, not even to get food or anything like that?
Actually, I did leave the motel that morning. It was quick, though. I went to get breakfast at the diner across the street from the motel. I got the food to go, and then I went back to the motel and stayed there the rest of the day.
So around what time did you go to the diner?
It was early, probably around 7.
Around 7. So you did not leave the motel at all, any time after getting that breakfast around 7 a.m.?
No, I did not.
Now, did you eat dinner?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so then how was it that you got your dinner that day?
Charles stopped by that evening to bring me dinner.
Oh, that's very kind of him.
Yes, it was.
So what time did he stop by?
I believe it was around 6-ish.
Around 6-ish. Now, did Charles bring you anything else?
Like what?
Like anything besides the dinner itself?
I don't think so.
And you're sure about that?
Yes, I'm sure.
All right, so I'm going to assume that if I were to stop by that diner and talk to some of the folks there, that someone who was working that morning would be able to verify that you were indeed there getting your breakfast around 7 a.m. Does that sound right?
I believe so, yes.
All right, well, let's assume that someone from the diner can verify you were there that morning, and let's also assume that Charles can corroborate that he did bring you dinner that evening. Is there anyone else that can account for your time, say, between the hours of 7:30 a.m. and 6 p.m. that day?
No, I don't think so.
There's no one at all?
No one I can think of.
All right, so just to make sure that I have this clear, you definitely did not go to Daniel's house at all the day that he was killed. Is that correct?
That's right.
So see, based on what I have so far, it seems to me that either Janice or Charles committed this murder. In fact, maybe the two of them even worked together. You know, I don't know.
Why would you say that?
Well, because Emma, the two of them were both seen entering and leaving Daniel's house the same day that he was killed.
But that doesn't make any sense. I mean, neither of them would do something like that.
Emma, how can you be so sure of that?
Well, in Janice's case, she had no reason to do such a thing. She hardly even knew Daniel.
Right. But she knows you. And she knows what you've been through. I am sure that Janice can empathize with you. You don't think so?
Janice is on probation. She's been through a really difficult and unfortunate situation. She served her time, and she has a good life now. You think she would screw all that up for some guy she hardly knows? Or for me, her neighbor?
Honestly, I don't know.
Well, she wouldn't.
All right, well then what about Charles? Because he was also seen entering Daniel's house that day. And we have already established that you are clearly someone important enough in his life to look out for. I mean, maybe he was, trying to care for you. Maybe, protect you.
Charles is not a killer. Does he care for me? Yes, and I care for him too. We've known each other for a really long time. But it's just not in his character to do something like that. He would never kill someone, or even think about doing something like that, for that matter. It's just not who he is.
All right, Emma, give me a second, okay? I'll be right back.
Well, I don't think this is adding up at all. I feel like we must have some evidence that contradicts her statement. Can you look over everything and see if you can find a clear contradiction? That'll add a lot more weight when I go back in there. Give me a call when you got something. Thanks. Hello? Yes, that's it. Kinda hard to argue that Charles isn't capable of murder, or at least thinking about it, when you have him on video literally threatening to kill someone. That is good stuff. All right, let me show her this and see what sort of explanation she has. This is good. Thanks. All right, let me get back in there. Hang tight.
All right, this is another continuation with Emma Richardson. Now, Emma, you had told me earlier, and I'm paraphrasing here, but you said something along the lines of Charles not being capable of committing murder or even thinking about it. Does that ring a bell?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, I want you to do me a favor and turn your attention to the TV here. I want you to take a look at this.
Look, I don't know what she told you, but I didn't lay a finger on her. Oh, shut up and cut that shit! I know you did. We already got to get out. Kid, I will fucking kill you. You understand me? No, whatever. I will end you. You got that? I will fucking end you.
So what do you think now?
I know how it looks, but surely you can see he's not being literal. Yes, he's angry and obviously trying to scare the shit out of Daniel. But to think he literally meant what he said, it's absolutely ludicrous.
Is it really?
It's a figure of speech. Obviously, Charles is not a murderer.
Emma, I am showing you clear proof right here that Charles threatened to kill Daniel. Now that absolutely makes him a suspect, and it shows clear intent. Now, I hear you when you say that you think Charles isn't a murderer. But Emma, what actual proof do you have that Charles did not kill Daniel? And I mean real proof, not just your thoughts and feelings.
I don't have any actual proof.
There you go. That right there is the problem. All right, that is a big problem that I need to get to the bottom of. So look, we are going to put a pause on this for now because I absolutely do need to speak to Charles again. All right?
Okay.
All right. I think we're making some progress here. Time will tell. You did a good job finding the right evidence. So now, let's see what Charles has to say. I'm going to get him back in here. I'll talk to you in a few.
All right, this is another continuation with Charles Humphreys. So Charles, I want to revisit your relationship with Daniel.
I mean, sure, but like I told you before, there wasn't much of a relationship. I only met the guy a few times.
So when was the last time that you saw him?
Probably a few months ago, maybe? Honestly, I'm not sure.
So you didn't see him on September 11th?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I do remember that now. Yeah, I saw him that morning. That's right. I'm sorry, I forgot about that.
See, Charles, I don't know how you could forget that.
What do you mean?
Well, Charles, we have security cam video that shows you violently threatening him. In fact, Charles, we can take a look at that right now.
You don't need to show me that.
Well, Charles, I just want to refresh your memory, okay? Seeing as though that you forgot. So please, indulge me, okay? Take a look.
Yeah, asshole. You're not you, man. Oh, no, get off me. I know what you did there, Mom.
Look, I don't know what she told you, but I didn't lay a finger on her.
Oh, shut up and cut that shit. I know you did. You already got to get old kid. I will fucking kill you. You understand? No, whatever.
So, Charles, is it coming back to you now?
Yeah.
Charles, you are seen here threatening Daniel's life, all right? Now, that is pretty damn serious. Especially considering the fact that the man whose life that you threatened, well, he was found killed the very next day.
I know how it looks, but I swear that was just an empty threat. I didn't mean it literally. But I was pissed, man. He laid hands on Emma, and I wanted him to know that I wasn't going to put up with that shit, period.
So you had no intentions of actually following through with that threat?
No, I wasn't actually going to kill him. But yeah, if he hurt Emma again, I would have probably went there and kicked his ass. But no, I wasn't actually going to kill him.
Okay, fair enough. So let's talk about your other visit to Daniel's house, okay? The next day, the day that he was actually killed.
Yeah, sure. What more do you want to know?
Well, you went there to gather some of Emma's personal belongings based on her request, right?
Yes, that's right.
And I'm assuming that you were able to get everything that you were sent there to get. Is that also correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So when did you actually bring these items to Emma?
Later that night.
At the motel?
Yes, at the motel.
And you had also brought her dinner as well that evening, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So Charles, when you were actually inside of Daniel's house gathering these items, how long would you say that you were in there for?
It's pretty quick, maybe a minute at the most.
A minute at most? Really?
Well, I just went into the house and grabbed a bag that was right at the entryway and then left.
So you had no reason to look around the house at all?
No, not at all.
All right, Charles, well, let me process this, okay, for a little bit. So we'll take a short break and I will be right back, okay?
Okay.
Alright, there are definitely some holes in this guy's story. I'm gonna need you to find some concrete proof. Let's nail this guy hard, alright? Let me know what you can find. Thanks. Hey, there it is. There it is. Fantastic work. Good eye. Yes, he is clearly in the house for way longer than just a minute. And yeah, you're right. Emma stated that he only brought her food the night of Daniel's death. She made it pretty clear that he didn't bring her anything else. So why would he go through the trouble of getting her personal items and then not actually give them to her? That makes no sense at all. All right, let's get the show back up and running. We need answers. Talk soon. Bye.
All right, this is a continuation with Charles Humphreys. Now, Charles, I want you to take a look at this footage right here, okay?
What am I looking for exactly?
Well, you can clearly see that that's you at the front of Daniel's house, correct?
Yes, I can see that.
So can you look up there and tell me, what is the date?
It's September 12th,
Right, and the time? What does that say?
9:27 a.m.
So 9:27 a.m. All right. Now let's fast forward through this. We'll jump to about right about here. All right, now, can we agree that this is you leaving Daniel's house that same morning?
Yes, it is.
So again, can you look up there and tell me the time? What does it say now?
It's 9:31 a.m.
So 9:31 a.m. Now see, Charles, you told me that you were in Daniel's house for no more than 1 minute. Okay, now I'm showing you the security cam video that shows that you were in there for about 3 to 4 minutes. Now, Charles, I can't understand why it would take 3 to 4 minutes to simply go inside of the house, grab a bag that's right there in the entryway, and then leave. So, Charles, can we cut the bullshit? All right, why did you go inside this house? And more importantly, what were you doing in this house? And this time, Charles, please, do not lie to me.
Look, I don't know if you're aware, but Daniel threatened Emma at gunpoint the day before he died. Now, obviously, this guy was unstable, but I didn't know he had a gun in the house.
So how did you find out about the gun?
Emma told me, and I was afraid Daniel was going to flip out again and actually use the gun to hurt him. So I decided to go over to the house and see if he was there. But when I got there, his car wasn't in the driveway. So I thought I could go in the house and find the gun and take it from him.
All right, so just to be clear, the reason that you went to the house was to find this gun.
That's right. And when I went in the house, I immediately went into their bedroom thinking that's where it would be. But instead, I find the guy lying there dead, and the gun is in his hand too. You know, I panicked. I didn't know what to do. You know, I remember they had the security cam out front, so that freaked me out, right? And I knew it was going to look bad, me coming in the house and this guy being dead. So I quickly kind of came up with this plan to grab some of Emma's stuff and put it in this bag. So it seemed like I had a reason to be there.
So this whole thing was just a performance for the security cam?
Yeah, I guess that's one way to put it.
Well, I guess that does make sense. Because see, Emma, she stated that the only thing that you brought her that evening was dinner.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's stupid and I'm sorry. But I didn't want to have any connection to this guy's death. I mean, the whole situation makes it look like I did it. Hell, I don't even know if you believe what I'm saying. And I know it sounds crazy, but it's the truth.
All right, so if your intent was to go there and to find this gun, then why do you look so confused when you first arrived?
Honestly, that's what I'm still confused about. Because I went to reach for the spare key, it wasn't there. So I thought I'd try the door anyway, and to my surprise, it was already unlocked.
So who do you think could have taken that spare key?
Honestly, I have no clue. I mean, I know it wasn't me, and it definitely wasn't Rebecca, because she has her own keys to the house, so I don't know. And I don't know why they would have left the door unlocked. That doesn't make any sense either. But what I do know is that it's obvious that somebody was there before me. They took the spare key, and they went through the front door.
All right. Well, Charles, we're going to give you a break, all right? You can step out of here for now, okay?
Okay.
Hey, I think that went well. It's quite a story, though. You know, I'm still not sure who to believe at this point in time. That being said, he did hit the nail on the head. Someone was absolutely there before him, and we know exactly who that was. Now we got both Janice and Charles saying they arrived at the house that morning, and both claim they found Daniel already dead. Yeah, I am not too sure I buy that. Now, I can see Charles's possible motivation for killing Daniel, but Janice's is a little unclear. I mean, maybe she was triggered by seeing another woman she knew dealing with a similar type of abuse that she experienced? I don't know. Well, regardless, we gotta move forward. I want to hear more from Janice. I'll grab her now. We'll be back up in just a sec.
Okay, this is a continuation with Janice Burks. So look, Janice, I just want to explore your relationship with Emma a bit more with you, if that's okay.
Sure. What more would you like to know?
Well, you mentioned having a positive relationship with her, so yeah, I just want to, get a better understanding of what that relationship looks like.
Well, like I told you before, Emma's always treated me nicely. And we talk from time to time so we get to know each other a little bit. She looks out for me, I look out for her. She's never judged me whatsoever, and I think that speaks a lot to her character. She's a very good person, and I'm really glad I got to know her.
Now, would you say that she trusts you?
To a certain extent, yes, I would say that.
Now, were you aware of the physical abuse that she had experienced? Did she trust you enough to share that information?
No. I knew they had some arguments. Sounded pretty bad, too. It was loud enough you could hear it next door. But, I wasn't aware of any actual physical abuse.
So you were aware that they had some pretty bad arguments?
Yes, I was aware of that.
But you were not aware of any actual physical abuse?
No, sir.
Now, you met Daniel a few times, so I'm wondering, do you think that he seems like the kind of guy that would be capable of physically striking a woman?
Like you just said, I only met him a few times, so I don't think I would be the best judge of his character.
Well, just in the limited interactions that you had with him, does he seem like the kind of guy that would be capable of physically striking a woman?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
All right, well, Janice, we are going to take a real short break. It would be great if you can use this time to maybe think about your encounters with Daniel and see if you can maybe come up with a more concrete answer, because I would appreciate that.
Sure. But I don't know what else there is to think about.
Well, just try. That's all I'm asking.
Sure.
Well, thank you, Janice.
Hey, asshole!
Well, she does seem to have all the right answers, doesn't she? But there's gotta be some flaws. It just all seems a bit too perfect. There's gotta be more to this than what she's telling us. Alright, let's take some time here. Look through everything you got, see if there's any contradictory evidence we can use to prove this statement of hers is full of shit. Hopefully you can find something good. Give me a call when you got something, alright? Bye. Well, there you go. That is great. Perfect. I'll share what Emma said earlier in her previous statement. Good catch. Now, what she said definitely doesn't match up with Janice's presentation of the facts. I'll grab the text message records as well. There's no way Janice can argue with that. All right, let me grab what I need and get back in there. Thanks.
Emma? Been really worried about you. Are you leaving him? Are you all right?
We can talk later. I gotta go.
Are you sure it's okay now? Just have
Look, I said we can talk later. I gotta go.
Okay, I got you. You go ahead, I'll get the suitcase.
Okay.
All right, this is another continuation with Janice Burks. So, Janice, I want to make sure that I got this right. Now, you are not aware of any physical abuse that Emma has experienced. Is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
Now, see, that is a problem. Because, see, Emma has stated the complete opposite.
What did Emma say?
Well, in her earlier statement, Emma said that you had texted her the night that her and Daniel had that pretty bad argument, the night that he had reportedly assaulted her. She said that you had texted her asking her if everything was okay. Now, does that ring any bells?
Well, yeah, that's correct, sir.
Now, she said that she had texted you back later that night telling you exactly what had happened. Does that also sound familiar to you?
Well, yes, that's also correct, but I don't remember if she told me that he'd actually physically assaulted her.
So you don't remember her texting you that detail?
No, not that I recall.
That's interesting. That is very, very interesting. So, Janice, look, I want you to take a look at these records right here. I want you to look at the message that's highlighted there. Now, that is a text message that Emma had sent to you the evening of September 9th. Now, she clearly texted, and I quote, "He threw me to the ground, hurt me pretty bad, at the hospital now." Now, there is no mixed messaging there. I find it very hard to believe that someone would forget such a major detail. Now, Janice, did you lie to me again?
No, sir. I just didn't recall.
You didn't recall?
Okay, I may have misstated the facts.
Janice, that is a very eloquent way of telling me that you lied. Now, Janice, why did you lie to me again?
Why did I lie? Again, sir, look at the optics. Someone with my background is seen entering the house the same day that Daniel's body is found shot to death. You know why I lied. And don't take this personally, but I don't trust law enforcement. I know I'm an easy target. I'm just doing the best I can to stay out of prison, sir. Look, you want to know what the truth is?
Yes, Janice, that is literally the only thing I want to know.
Good. Because the truth is that none of us would be in this mess if law enforcement had actually done their job and protected Emma when she first reported the abuse. She did all she could. She went to the police. She told them everything that Daniel had done to her. She even had her daughter as a witness. That man should already be locked up. That man physically assaulted her, and you guys let him go on his merry way. That's not okay. You know it, and I know it, that that's not okay.
Look, Janice, I hear you. Okay, I hear you. And yeah, maybe we could have handled things differently. I don't know. Okay, but regardless, we can't live in the past, right? I mean, all that we can do is to make sure that we do the right thing right now in this moment. That's literally all that we can do. So Janice, let me ask you again, okay? Were you aware that Daniel had physically assaulted Emma?
Yes, sir, I was aware.
And your only confirmation of this were the text messages between you and Emma, is that correct?
That and the fact that she went to the hospital with a dislocated elbow. Not sure I'd need any more proof than that.
But you didn't actually see Daniel physically assault her, correct?
No. What kind of question is that? I mean, what man do you know is going to strike a woman in front of other people? Guys like that do their business behind closed doors. Trust me, I know.
Fair enough. Now, I am curious, and Janice, please be honest. Do you think that Daniel deserved to be killed for his actions?
No. Punished, yes, but not killed. Are we almost done, officer?
For now. Yes, for now. Now, I do need to get some other people in here, and then we'll see how it goes from there. But yeah, Janice, you can step out of here for now, okay? Let's go.
Alright, so we know for sure that Janice was aware of the physical abuse. We know she was the first person seen on camera entering the house, and we know that she and Emma have a relationship in which both of them look out for one another. Now, what we don't know for sure is if Daniel was indeed already dead by the time she entered the house. And at this moment, there really is no way to prove or disprove Daniel's status at that time. It's clear that these people are still lying to us. There's still too many holes and things that just make no sense. All right, let's get Rebecca back in here for another round. I got a few more questions for her. Hang tight.
All right, this is a continuation with Rebecca Humphreys. So, Rebecca, I want to go back to the day of Daniel's death. Mm-hmm. Now, you said that you were at your dad's house the entire day that Daniel was killed. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
And the only thing to corroborate this are these text messages between you and a coworker in which you asked them to cover your shift for that day. Is that also correct?
Yeah, that's also correct.
So see, the problem here is that those text messages do not necessarily prove that you were at your dad's house that day. In fact, all they prove is that you didn't go to work that day. Now, as to your exact whereabouts on that day, well, that is yet to be proven, right? All I've got to go on is your words. Now, would you say that that is a fair assessment?
Yeah, I guess. I can see where you're coming from, but at the same time, I don't really have any reason to lie either.
Now, that very well may be true, but my job is to question everything, okay? I can't base things off of just words alone. I need facts, right?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
So, is there anyone that may have seen you either enter or leave your dad's house on that day?
I don't know. I mean, there's not really a way for me to tell if somebody had seen me on that day. It's possible, but I don't know.
But your dad, he can account for your time later that day, right? In the evening?
Yeah, he can.
All right, so according to you, the only person who can account for your whereabouts on that day is your dad, but that's only in the evening. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. That is correct.
Rebecca, did you go to Daniel's house the day that he was killed?
No, I already told you I was at my dad's house the entire day.
I am aware that that's what you told me. But again, without any concrete proof, I can't just go based off of your words.
Do you have access to their security cam?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so is that not proof? The security cam has a sensor. Anytime anybody gets within a few feet of it, it triggers. So it's quite literally impossible to enter the house without being recorded. So are you able to check those recordings? Have you checked them?
Yes, we have gone through all of those recordings, yeah.
And did you see me enter the house?
As a matter of fact, no, we did not.
Well then, there you go. I don't know what more you want.
But see, Rebecca, you didn't necessarily need to go through the front door. You could have gone through the rear door. Now, to my knowledge, the rear entrance does not have any sort of security cam of any kind. So, in theory, you, or anyone else for that matter, could have gone through there. Isn't that a possibility?
No, actually it's not, no. The rear door is always kept locked, and on top of that, I don't have a house key. So whenever I need to enter the house, I use a spare key. And if I have to use the spare key, I have to go get it. In turn, I would trigger the security cam, and I would be recorded. I'd be on those recordings.
Now, in regards to these recordings, I did notice that you guys have a keypad on that front door. So you don't have a code for that either?
No, that's been broken since I've moved in.
All right, so since you don't have a key, and that rear door is always kept locked, and that keypad is broken, then there would have been no way for you to enter that house on that day. Is that what you're telling me?
Not unless I use the spare key.
All right, fair enough. Okay, Rebecca, we are going to take a short break. You just wait here, all right? And I'll be back in just a few. All right.
Well, yet again, I feel like we're not getting the whole truth here. Her not having an alibi is definitely a red flag. I know we brought her in here as a witness, but I'm thinking we may have to bump her up to a suspect. The abuse she witnessed could be enough to give her a motive. Possibly. All right, let's see if you can work your magic and find some contradictory evidence here. I want to squeeze every ounce of truth out of her. You give me a call when you got something solid. Talk soon. Hey. Yes, I knew you'd find exactly what we needed. Now, I do feel kind of silly not remembering the rear door being open, but that's why 2 sets of eyes are better than 1, right? Good stuff. Right, with that photo and Charles's statement, we definitely have enough to back her into a corner. Let's see how she responds. We'll be live in just a few. All right, bye.
Okay, this is a continuation with Rebecca Humphreys. Now, Rebecca, I know we discussed you not having a way of entering that house without being seen, but I do want to revisit that rear door possibility. So let's hypothetically say that if someone were to leave the rear door open for some rare reason, then in theory, you could have entered through that rear door completely undetected, right?
I guess in that very rare and specific scenario, it's possible. Sure.
All right, now I want you to take a look at this photo right here, and you tell me, what is it that you notice?
The rear door is left open? Is that what you want me to notice?
Correct. Now, this photo was taken from the crime scene, which means that someone left that door open. So this very rare and specific scenario is actually a fact. Now, we found that rear door unlocked and ajar. Okay, so now with this knowledge, it is safe to say that you could have entered through that rear door completely undetected, right?
I guess given what you've just shown me, yeah, sure, it's possible, but that's not what happened. I already told you I didn't go to the house that day, and I feel like I'm just repeating the same thing over and over.
And why should I believe you?
Look, am I a suspect here? Because you're treating me as if I actually had something to do with this.
No, Rebecca, I am treating you like someone who may have something to hide, because you have indeed hidden information from me. In fact, I might go so far to say that you have straight up lied to me, Rebecca.
What are you even talking about?
Look, when I talked to your dad earlier today, he told me that you have your own set of keys to Daniel's house. But then you told me that you don't have keys to Daniel's house. So you see, either you or your dad is lying to me.
Okay, yes, I do have keys to Daniel's house, but that doesn't mean that I was there.
Now, why did you lie to me? All right? Lying to me is only going to make things worse, and you know that.
I don't know. I guess I didn't want you to be suspicious of me.
Well, that obviously did not work out too well for you, did it?
No, it didn't.
All right, so now knowing that you do actually have keys to the house, it is safe to say that you could have entered through that rear door whether it was left open or not. Is that correct?
Yes, technically, that is correct. But look, I know that I lied to you about not having keys, but I swear I'm not lying about when I say that I didn't go to the house that day.
All right, well, let's assume that you are telling the truth, okay, and that you did not go to the house that day. Can you think of any reason as to why that door would have been left open, especially when you said that the rear door is never left unlocked? So why is it that on this specific day, that door was left open?
I don't know. Maybe Daniel left it open for some weird reason. That's all I can think of because I don't know. I honestly just don't know.
All right, Rebecca, let's put a pause on this conversation, okay? You can step out of here for now.
Sure.
Hey, so you think she's telling the whole truth now? I feel like we got more out of her, and maybe she's being honest, but I still don't know. We still don't have the complete picture, which means technically anything is possible. Alright, we've made some good progress so far, but it's time to really grind this out and get to the bottom of this case. I want to bring all 4 of them back in here for one more round of questioning. The gloves are coming off this time. Alright, let's get to it. I'll start with Janice. Let's see what more we can get out of her. I'll be back with her in just a sec. Alright, bye.
This is a continuation with Janice Burks. So, Janice, I just want to revisit our discussion regarding your relationship with Emma.
Sure.
Now, there seems to be a lot of trust between the two of you. It seems that she confides in you quite a bit. Would you agree with that?
That's correct, sir.
Now, see, I'm finding it hard to believe that that level of trust can be built between two people that are simply just neighbors, especially considering the fact that the two of you haven't even been neighbors for all that long. Hell, I've got neighbors on my street that I've seen for years, right? And I still don't know their names.
I don't know what to tell you, sir. Our relationship is what it is.
So are you this close with all of your neighbors?
No. I already told you what my relationship was like with most of my neighbors. They keep to themselves and I do the same.
But not with Emma.
No, because Emma actually treats me like a decent human being.
So would you say that you're somewhat of a protector as it pertains to Emma? I mean, you did mention that you look out for her, right?
Yes, I do look out for her, but I wouldn't go as far as saying I'm her protector. But yes, I do look out for her.
Now, Janice, we both know that you are capable of taking a human being's life. That's already been proven, right?
That was a really long time ago, sir. And you know why I did that, so don't you dare try to make it seem like I'm some sort of monster.
No, Janice, I don't think that you're a monster. Come on, I don't think that. But with your track record, your desire to look out for Emma, and your knowledge of the abuse that she experienced, I mean, one could easily say that you may have very well had a hand in this murder.
This is bullshit. I knew you would use my past as some sort of justification for killing this man. I gave you the benefit of the doubt, but I guess it's my fault for being so damn stupid. Look, I had nothing to do with that man's death. Yes, I entered the house the day he died, but I told you the truth on that. I found him and he was already dead.
So how do I know that you didn't kill him? Why should I believe someone that already has a proven track record for disregarding the law? Why should I believe you?
Look, the truth is, his dead body wasn't the only thing I saw when I entered the house.
What do you mean?
When I first entered the house, I saw someone fleeing through the backyard.
Wait, there was somebody else at the house?
Yes, sir.
All right, and then who was this person that you saw?
I don't know. It happened so fast, I only caught a glimpse of them.
Were you able to make out any sort of identification? Race, sex, body type, anything?
Not really. The only thing I can really remember is that it seemed like it was a man. The build, the way they were running, it definitely seemed like it was a man.
Okay, so you saw a male fleeing through the backyard.
That is correct, sir.
And that's the only thing that you know for sure?
That's all I can remember, sir.
All right, Janice, let's put a quick pause on this conversation.
Sure.
All right. Well, things just got very interesting, didn't they? This is, of course, assuming she's telling the truth about seeing someone flee through the backyard. Now, it is consistent with the crime scene photos showing the back door slightly open. It would also give an explanation as to why it was left open. Maybe they were trying to get the heck out of there as fast as possible when they heard Janice come in. But again, this is assuming she's telling the truth. Even if she's being honest, it's pretty odd that she can positively state it was a male that she saw, but yet she can't make out any other details? Did that strike you as odd? Or maybe I'm overthinking it. What do you think? You think she's telling the truth about that? You think it was a man that she saw, or you think she's got something more that she's hiding? I'll head back in once I get your take on this.
Let me know what you think, all right? Talk soon. Hey. All right, you think she's telling the truth? Fair enough. Like I said, I may have been overthinking it. Okay, let me get back in there. Bye.
Okay, this is a continuation with Janice Burks. So Janice, you saw a man fleeing the house through the backyard when you had entered, correct?
That is correct, sir.
And you can't remember anything else about this person? Nothing at all?
I was trying to remember more when you stepped out, but I really can't. That's all I've got. I'm sorry I can't recall more.
No, that's all right. I mean, given the fact that we know it was a male, that at least gives us something to work with. So, are there any guys that you know that would have a reason to kill Daniel? Any guys that maybe he had some disagreements or fights with or anything like that?
No, nothing at all.
And what about Charles, Emma's ex? Do you think that he could possibly fit the description of the guy that you saw?
Well, I never met him, so I guess it's possible.
So why did you not disclose this information earlier, right? We had already talked about you obstructing the investigation, Janice.
Well, look, I wasn't trying to get somebody else in trouble. I'm not the detective. Or when you guys were trying to make it seem like I had something to do with it, well, that's when I have to look after myself. And I know for sure I had nothing to do with it. And yes, for sure, there was someone fleeing that house. Whether or not they had something to do with it, well, that's for you guys to figure out.
So that's it. No more hiding the truth. No more obstruction.
No, sir, that is everything.
All right. Well, in that case, Janice, is there anything else that you would like to add to your statement today?
No, sir.
All right. We're going to take a final break. Right, we're almost done today, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, I don't think we're going to get any more out of Janice. We're going to have to take what we've got and put the pieces together ourselves. Let's keep moving forward, okay? Given this newfound information, I want to bring Rebecca back in here. I've got some new questions for her. Let's see what she has to say. Hang tight while I go get her. We'll be back up soon. All right, bye.
Emma? Been really worried about you. Are you leaving him? Are you all right?
We can talk later. I gotta go.
Are you sure to tell me now? Just have
Look, I said we can talk later. I gotta go.
Okay, I got you. You go ahead, I'll get the suitcase.
Okay.
All right, this is a continuation with Rebecca Humphreys. Now, Rebecca, some new information has come up, so we do need to revisit a few items and see if we can get some answers. Now, I have reason to believe that the morning of Daniel's death, somebody was seen fleeing the crime scene through the backyard.
Do you know who this person was?
Well, at the moment, no, I do not. But with the process of elimination, I'm sure that I can make a pretty decent educated guess. So let's look at the facts, okay? Now, with the security cam footage that we currently have, we know that both your dad, as well as your neighbor Janice, were seen entering and leaving the house that morning through the front door.
My dad and Janice?
That is correct. They were both seen entering the house that morning. Now, does that surprise you?
I mean, yeah, a little bit.
Well, to be honest, it surprises me too, actually. So see, now this means that the only two people whose time we cannot account for at all are both you and your mom. And since we know that that rear door was left open, well, it does make sense that, someone fled in such a hurry that they just didn't have time to shut it. Now, this also means that if this person entered and left through the back, well, then there would be no record of them. So you see, someone who is smart, who knows the layout, also knows that that front door has that security camera, well, they would simply go through the back completely undetected. And since we know that both you and your mom have keys to the house, well, then it is possible that the person that was seen fleeing was one of you two. Now, here's my guess. My guess is that either one of you or your mom, opened up that back door with your key, you entered, killed Daniel, and then you get startled when you hear someone at that front door. You flee in such a hurry that you have no time to properly shut and lock that door.
That's assuming if someone was actually seen fleeing. Have you ever, considered that maybe the person who told you that is lying?
Yes. Of course, sure. But, see, in this scenario, it does give us an answer as to why the crime scene was found in the state that it was. And if we go off of this scenario, well, then I would have to assume that either you or your mom killed Daniel.
That's literally insane. That's ridiculous.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
So why don't you tell me? What do you think happened? Who was that person that was seen fleeing?
Well, first of all, we don't even know if somebody was actually seen fleeing. And even if there was, it quite literally could have been anybody.
Really? It could have been anybody?
Yeah, really anybody. Look, what I don't think you know is that Daniel was a pretty big drinker. He would hit up the bars in town with his friends. And sometimes they would wind up back at the house late in the evening, and they would just drink until morning. I mean, hell, he would even bring strangers home. Literally guys that he had met at the bars that night. He loved to flash his cash around and just be the center of attention. So yeah, it really could have been anybody that killed Daniel and was seen fleeing. But that's if that's what really happened. And also, you're saying that because my mom and I have keys, then we're the ones who most likely entered through the back door? Have you ever considered that maybe Daniel or one of his friends left the back door open? I mean, you said that you have camera footage of my dad and Janice. Do you also have security cam footage of Daniel? Because if he entered through the front door that night, wouldn't he have triggered the camera too?
Well, as a matter of fact, no. We do not have any security cam footage of Daniel entering through the front door that evening. We don't.
Okay. Well, there you go. Probably entered through the back door, left it open, and just forgot about it. The back door being left open quite literally means nothing. And it certainly is not something that should be used to make it seem like my mom or I killed Daniel. That doesn't make any sense. That's insane.
Well, yeah, him going through the back is certainly possible. Okay, I can't argue with that. And to be honest, I was not aware of Daniel's drinking and social habits.
Well, I mean, not many people were. He was really good at making it look like he was a good guy.
So if I were to go around town and check out some of these bars and talk to the employees, they would be able to corroborate all of this, right? I mean, seeing as though you make it seem like it's a regular occurrence.
I mean, yeah, of course.
Well, that is interesting. It's very, very interesting. All right, let's let this stew for a bit. All right, we'll take a short break, okay? You hang here and I'll be back in just a few.
Well, this just keeps getting better and better, doesn't it? This case is literally all over the place. It's hard to gauge whether she's telling the truth or not. And to be honest, with the amount of alcohol we found at the crime scene, it is possible that there was at least one other person drinking with him. And she's right. The security cam never triggered that night. There's no recording. It's very possible that Daniel was the one that left that rear door open. Regardless, we need to nail her on something here. My gut's telling me that she is not being completely honest with us. See what you can find and get back to me. There's gotta be something. All right. Thanks. Hey. Yes, great catch, my friend, great catch. These statements definitely contradict and most likely debunk her whole story about his drinking, because either both Janice and Emma are lying, or only she is. The latter seems more likely. Let me get back in there and get some answers. Oh, good stuff. All right, talk soon. Bye.
This is a continuation with Rebecca Humphreys. So, Rebecca, I want to explore your theory a bit more. Now, according to you, Daniel was a big drinker, and he had some people over, they got drunk, they partied till the morning hours, and then someone there shot him. And that's who was seen fleeing the crime scene. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, but again, that's only assuming if someone really was seen fleeing, which we don't know for sure, right? But yeah, it's a total possibility.
Well, see, I find it funny that you would know that he had been drinking that night because, well, it's the truth, actually. He had been drinking pretty excessively. But see, I never brought that up with you.
Well, you didn't really need to. I mean, like I said, it was a possibility, and it was kind of his regular routine, so I'm not shocked.
Well, I guess what's odd about your theory of him drinking that night is that both your mom and your neighbor Janice had completely different things to say about his so-called regular behavior.
Like what?
Well, according to Janice, she stated that your household was pretty quiet most of the time. In fact, she could not recall any moments of any parties or any loud behavior, things that I would normally associate with a bunch of intoxicated people at odd hours of the night, especially if this was a regular occurrence.
Okay, and so you just believe her?
And why should I not believe her?
I don't know. But you're believing what she's saying at face value, and you're questioning me as if I'm the one who's lying here.
That's fair. That is fair. But see, I also have a contradictory statement from your mom as well. Now see, your mom, she stated that Daniel hardly ever drank. In fact, your mom could not remember the last time that she saw him have a drink. So what, is your mom also lying?
Okay, so maybe Daniel didn't drink all the time per se, okay? Okay, but listen, I swear I have seen him drink a few times while I've been living there, okay? And every single time, it was when he was really stressed and he would always get completely hammered. I mean, he was obviously in a very stressful situation, given the fact that my mom was filing a police report against him, and he was put on leave from his job. So it would make sense that he would be drinking and maybe invite some friends over, okay? Like, I don't know. It made sense.
So why did you exaggerate Daniel's drinking?
I don't know. I don't know. I guess I just wanted to make it clear that he wasn't Mr. Perfect like everybody thought he was.
Yeah, see, I still find it strange that you would assume that he had been drinking, when even you have now, stated that he didn't even drink all that often.
I didn't assume. Like I said, it was a possibility. Given the situation, it made sense.
All right, so just to be very clear, your theory of Daniel drinking that night is simply just a theory. This isn't actual first-hand knowledge. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. It is just a possibility of what could have happened that night.
All right, well, I guess there isn't that much more to cover. So look, is there anything else that you need to tell me? Anything important you feel I should know?
No, not that I can think of.
You sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
All right, well, Rebecca, we are almost done for the day, okay? So I just need you to hang here at the station for a little while longer, all right?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
All right, we'll give you a break for now. Thank you.
Well, her theory about Daniel drinking that night is a little too spot on. It doesn't necessarily mean she's lying, but I'm not sure we should take it at face value either. I think it's time we bring Emma back in here since she has no alibi for that morning either. We need to know if that person fleeing was her or not. Let me get her in here and see what I can do. Talk soon. Bye.
All right, this is a continuation with Emma Richardson. Now, look, Emma, we're just going to jump right into things here. We've been here for quite a while today, and I have listened to a lot of different statements, some truthful, some not so truthful. Either way, though, I am starting to come to some conclusions, but there are still some things that I do need to clear up, especially as it pertains to you.
Of course. That's why I'm here.
All right, well, first things first, I do want to acknowledge that we may not have handled your initial police report as best as we could have.
I'm glad you see it that way too.
I do. But unfortunately, it does give you more of a reason to kill Daniel. Now, perhaps you took matters into your own hands because you didn't get the expected results from law enforcement. Now, is that maybe what happened?
We've already gone over this. The answer is absolutely not.
Look, Emma, if everything that you filed in that police report is accurate, all right, I want you to know that I understand that you were also a victim in this whole situation, okay? I understand that. But see, when I zoom out and I look at the bigger picture, I can't help but have my doubts that you weren't somehow involved.
I've already told you the truth. I was at that motel the entire day. I never got anywhere near that house the day Daniel was killed.
Yes, you have told me that. But see, without anyone that can corroborate your story, Yeah, I do have my suspicions. Emma, you have the biggest motive and justification for killing Daniel. You really do. I mean, after what he supposedly did to you, and then you go to the police and then you see that nothing comes of it? Yes, I can see why you would take matters into your own hands, okay? I would understand that. Hell, a lot of people in your situation would do the exact same thing, Emma.
He didn't supposedly do anything to me. He assaulted me, and then he threatened to kill me. Those aren't supposed theories. Those are facts. They actually happened. So please be more respectful with how you choose your words, because how you're framing it right now is not okay.
You're right. You're right. And I am sorry. That was a very poor choice of words on my part. I am sorry. But look, it still does not change the fact that you benefit the most from Daniel's death, now does it?
I'm not going to answer that. We've already been through this. And my answer isn't going to change no matter how many different ways you ask me that question.
So, despite the fact that you have such a clear and strong motive, I'm just supposed to ignore the fact that you don't have an alibi? I'm just simply supposed to take the word of the person who benefits the most in this situation when they have absolutely nothing to prove that they weren't somehow involved? And let's also look at the fact that you were the one best suited to avoid that front security camera, right? You know it's there, and you know how it triggers its recordings. Emma, you could have easily gone around the back, killed Daniel, and then left. I mean, what is there to say that that did not happen?
Because it didn't. Okay. Why is it so hard for you to believe the truth? Why is it so hard?
Emma, because I don't know the truth. Okay, that's why. And until I know the truth, yes, I am absolutely going to question everything. And right now, you are telling me that I should believe you because you say it's the truth? Well, look, Emma, I have got news for you. Everybody that sits in that chair seems to always be telling me the truth. And I mean always. I literally get nothing but the truth until it isn't.
Look, I can understand from your perspective why you would doubt what I'm telling you. But I swear, I was at that motel the entire day. I only left early to grab breakfast. That was it. Look, I know there's nothing that can prove that I was at that motel, but there's also nothing that can prove that I wasn't. And I am telling you the truth. I swear.
All right, Emma, you know what? You are right. We are just going around in circles here. So, look, we are going to take a quick break, all right?
Okay. Do I have to stay here?
Yes, you do, please.
Well, I'm not too sure I made any progress just now. The main thing that we gotta assess here is whether or not we think she's telling the truth about being at the motel that day. Because she's right. We have nothing to prove she was there or not. All we have is her word. This one's a pure judgment call, and honestly, I'm not sure. Once again, I'm gonna trust you on this. Look things over and let me know what you think. But take your time and make sure you get this right. I have a feeling that moving forward, a lot is going to be based on how we play this. All right, call me when you made up your mind. Bye. Hey. Okay, you're feeling like she's being honest. Fair enough. Like I said, I wasn't too sure myself. But I can see where you're coming from. Alright, cool. Let's get back to it. Talk soon.
This is a continuation with Emma Richardson. Look, Emma, I want you to know that I believe you. Okay? I believe that you were at the motel, and I believe that you didn't go anywhere near Daniel's house the day that he was killed.
Oh, good, because it's the truth.
Of course. But now we do have to take your words into consideration as we try to piece this whole thing together. So what I want to do is I want to look at the facts. All right? Now, we have video footage of both Charles and Janice seen entering and leaving Daniel's house the day that he was killed. Right? Now, that obviously makes it very possible for them to have killed Daniel. But as you had mentioned, you don't think that's a possibility because, as you said, that's not the type of people that they are. Now, I don't know either of them, or I don't at least know them well, but let's give them the benefit of the doubt, okay? Let's assume that you're right. So now, if you're right, that means that we can remove the two of them as suspects. And based on what you told me regarding your whereabouts the day that he was killed, well, then that means we can also remove you as a suspect. So using the basic process of elimination, and again, based on what you've been telling me, well, it seems pretty clear that Rebecca must have killed him.
No, Rebecca had nothing to do with this.
All right, let's try to look at this objectively, okay? Because, see, after interviewing Rebecca, there were two things that really stood out to me.
Such as?
Well, for one, she seemed to know that Daniel had been drinking excessively that night. Now, I can't for the life of me understand how she could possibly know that unless she had seen it with her own two eyes. And secondly, she seemed really set on exaggerating Daniel's drinking habits, which directly contradicts what you had told me earlier about him not drinking much at all. In fact, you told me that you couldn't even remember the last time that you saw that man have a drink. But you see, according to Rebecca, he did drink every now and then. And that's why she assumed that he had been drinking that night. So you see, with such blatant contradictions, it is clear that somebody is lying to me.
Look, I may have been mistaken. I mean, he did drink every now and then. I mean, I shouldn't have said that he never drank because it wasn't actually the truth.
So you lied to me?
No, I was mistaken. Are you aware how stressful this is?
Yes, Emma, of course I am.
Then you should understand it's not easy to think clearly under these circumstances.
Okay, so Rebecca is telling the truth. So he did drink every now and then? Is that what you are now saying?
Yes, and sometimes it was quite excessively. It didn't happen often, but, he did drink on occasion.
So what was his drink of choice? On these occasions that he decided to get his drink on. What is it that he would drink?
I mean, he didn't have a favorite drink or anything like that. I mean, just whatever he felt like in the moment, I guess.
All right, well, assuming that you were telling the truth, that still changes absolutely nothing regarding Rebecca, because she is the only person whose time is completely unaccounted for. And let me tell you, Janice had stated that when she entered the house that morning, she saw someone fleeing out the backyard. And you see, Rebecca, right, just like you, she knows that the front door has a security camera, and she also has access to the rear door. So you see, Emma, she could have planned this whole thing perfectly.
But that's not what happened. I can assure you that's not what happened.
You can assure me. Okay, well then, Emma, please, go ahead, assure me. Look, Emma, somebody is getting charged with murder. Okay, that is a fact. So if you have something to say, you better say it now. Emma, either you are lying to me, and you did go to the house that day, or Rebecca is lying to me, and she went to the house that day.
Maybe neither of us is lying.
So then who was seen fleeing out the back, huh? Who could that have been?
I don't know. Maybe it wasn't either of us. Did you think about that?
Emma, there is absolutely nothing that supports any other persons of interest besides you, Rebecca, Charles, and Janice. So yes, of course I have thought about that. And Emma, no, it doesn't add up.
Look, I don't know what more you want me to say. I mean, it's like you're intentionally backing me into a corner. I'm done. I'm not going to answer any more of your questions. And now I'm requesting the opportunity to speak with an attorney, so I'm not going to answer any more of your questions.
So now you want an attorney?
Yes, I'm done.
So that's it? All right, well then I guess we're done.
Okay, can I go home now?
You can go home soon. Look, you don't have to answer any more questions, but if you can just please stay while I wrap up the rest of my interviews, because look, I'm almost done. If you can do that for me, I would appreciate that.
Okay, fine.
Thank you.
Well, shit. I guess that's all we're gonna get out of her, huh? I still don't think she's being completely honest with me. And did you see how she backpedaled on Daniel's drinking? As soon as we start to really get some pressure going, that's when she decides to lawyer up? Really? Well, I guess we're gonna have to take what we've gotten from her so far and go from there, huh? All right, look, let's get Charles back in here and hope he's still willing to talk. I need to know what he has to say about all this. Give me a sec while I go grab him. All right. Bye.
Okay, this is a continuation with Charles Humphreys. Now, Charles, I know that you've been here for quite a while today, so I'm going to do my best to get right to the point, all right?
Great, I appreciate that.
Of course. Now, after reviewing everything so far, it really does seem that either Rebecca or Emma may have had some involvement with Daniel's death.
There's no way. And I don't care how you came to that conclusion. I'm telling you, there's absolutely no way that either one of them did this.
Now, Charles, I can completely understand why you would feel like that, okay? I really do. But we have to look at the facts, Charles. Now, as of right now, Rebecca and Emma are the only two people whose time is completely unaccounted for. They're also both very aware that that front door has a security camera, which could have recorded them. They also have keys to the house, so they could have entered through that rear door. But most importantly, Charles, they both have a motive.
What possibly could be Rebecca's motive?
Charles, Rebecca is aware of the abuse that her mom has experienced, okay? She went to the hospital. She saw firsthand just how badly this man hurt her own mother. Now, do you think that she wanted to see that happen again? No, of course not. So, what is the best way to make sure that that man never lays a finger on her mother again? Well, simply end his life. Problem solved.
That's ridiculous. That's your motive? Heck, you might as well consider me the one that killed him. I mean, I care about Emma. You know, I never wanted to see her get hurt like that again, and I would have done anything to protect her. So what, does that make me a killer too?
Well, possibly.
Oh my God, wow. Rebecca has her whole life in front of her. You think she's going to throw that away? And let's remember, she went with Emma to file the police report. She literally encouraged her to do so. She was trying to handle everything the right way. So your motive makes no sense whatsoever.
Well, Charles, you might be right, okay? You might. Okay, maybe Rebecca has nothing to do with this. But what about Emma? All right, let's take another look at her. Now, she's a mom. She seems to be a really good person who seems to care a lot about her daughter. Now, we know that Daniel not only threatened to kill Emma, but he also threatened to kill Rebecca. Okay? Now, you're a parent. Wouldn't you want to protect your child in a situation like that?
I mean, of course I would. I mean, she's my daughter too. So I'm in the same exact situation as Emma. But I'm not going to kill someone.
Well, Charles, maybe not. Okay, but the difference between you and Emma is that at least your time is somewhat accounted for because we have you on video. But let's say that Emma did not kill Daniel. All right? Well, then we got to go back to Rebecca. And if Emma, or even you for that matter, knew that Rebecca had killed Daniel, well, wouldn't you do your absolute best to protect her? Wouldn't you lie and do everything that you could to cover it up?
No, I wouldn't, and neither would Emma.
Come on, Charles. I find that very hard to believe, man.
Look, I mean, you spent time with both Rebecca and Emma today, asking them all sorts of questions. I mean, you're a detective. After spending all that time with them, do you think either one of them is capable of murder? I mean, do you believe that?
Truthfully, Charles, I don't know.
Well, regardless of what you think, the answer is no. It's a 100% no.
Well, Charles, since you seem to be so adamant about it not being Rebecca or Emma, why don't you tell me, what do you think happened?
I already told you what I think.
Well, Charles, please, refresh my memory.
I brought it up earlier today, and you seemed pretty dismissive of it then. But I still think this guy might have taken his own life. Maybe there is no actual murder.
And you believe that?
Yes, I do. I mean, he was under a lot of stress, and we know he wasn't the most mentally stable person. I mean, look what he did to Emma. Like, no sane person reacts that way. And Emma also told me he was put on leave by his firm. I mean, I'm pretty sure that whole job was his identity. That's got to be devastating. Maybe this was all too much for him to handle. And honestly, the more I think about it, the more I believe suicide is exactly what happened.
Okay, Charles, fair enough.
Now, another possibility, as much as I hate to say it, is Janice may have been involved.
And why would you say that?
Look, we both know about her past. I mean, she's already killed one guy that was an abuser. And I don't want to throw any suspicion her way, but I gotta be honest. The few times that I did meet her, something seemed off. I mean, her attitude towards me seemed pretty off-putting, especially considering she hardly even knew me. I mean, it's like instinctually she had something against me because I'm a man. And I know that sounds crazy, but that's what it felt like.
So, Charles, how did you get to know Janice?
Emma talked to me mostly about her. Like I said, I met her a few times in person, but we didn't chat much, mostly because she just seemed bothered by my presence. Like I said, she just seemed off.
So, Charles, is this pure speculation? Because it seems like it might be a bit more than that.
I don't know. All I'm saying is you shouldn't be so quick to dismiss Janice.
All right, well, Charles, that is noted. Look, we're going to take a short break, all right? I want to mull this over, okay?
All right.
All right. Okay, he's being real defensive of Rebecca and Emma. But I honestly can't blame him. I do have to admit, I can't picture either Rebecca or Emma being capable of taking someone's life. But as I told him earlier, crazier things have happened for sure. And what do you think about his Janice theory? He seemed pretty convinced that Janice may have been involved. But why bring it up now? Is it to protect himself and his family? Or is there actually some legitimacy to his theory? Well, either way, let's see if we can trip him up. To be honest, I'm pretty drained. All these interviews today are starting to blur together. Work your magic one last time. See if you can find any evidence that pokes holes in his statement. I know we gotta have something. All right, give me a call when you got something. Talk soon.
Hey. Well, shit. I feel like an idiot. Now that you point these things out, it's pretty obvious. I really can't believe I spaced on the autopsy report. Like I said, I'm pretty wiped. I'm definitely not at 100%. Good thing I got you working with me, though, right? Look, I know I've said this before, but I really do appreciate you. I mean that. You know, I gotta say, we're a pretty damn good team. Alright, let me get back to it. Bye.
All right, this is a continuation with Charles Humphreys. Now, Charles, I want to dig right back into this, all right? I want to go over a few things that you had stated earlier, okay?
Sure.
Now, I want to revisit this theory of a possible suicide. Now, that has been mentioned a few times today, and I'm realizing that I've only shared secondhand information. So, Charles, I want you to take a look at this, all right? Now, that is an official copy of the autopsy report. Now, I want you to look at the section labeled Final Diagnosis, right there. Now, you'll see there that it states that suicide is considered highly unlikely.
Okay, so maybe it wasn't a suicide. I'm still not 100% convinced, though.
Well, to be fair, Charles, you are not the person that needs to be convinced. Now, regardless, let's move on to your other theory, okay? And that being Janice and her possible involvement. Now, I have to admit, I did have some similar thoughts to you when I spoke with Janice earlier today. Now, I didn't get, any weird vibes or anything like that, but her past certainly does not do her any favors, especially in this situation. And then after hearing you mention the way that she acted when the two of you met, well, yeah, that did raise my suspicions a bit more. But see, Charles, there is a problem here.
And that is?
Well, see, according to Janice, the two of you never actually met. In fact, she claims that she doesn't know anything about you.
And you believe her?
Charles, I don't know what to believe, all right? But her statement does seem to contradict yours, so someone is lying to me. Now, she also stated that she saw someone flee the house through the back door at the exact same time that she entered the house.
So she was the person that entered the house before me, and that's why the door was unlocked?
That is correct.
Well, who did she see?
Well, see, that's the thing, all right? She wasn't able to make out who that person was, so unfortunately, that part is still a mystery. Now, Charles, there is one other thing to note here, all right? Somehow, Rebecca seemed to know that Daniel had been drinking very heavily that day, all right? Now, that is not typical behavior for Daniel, okay? At least based on what I've gathered so far. Now, she did say that this was just an assumption, all right? But I gotta say, that assumption was pretty damn accurate. I mean, hell, you were there, right? You saw all that booze. So, what do you think? Do you still believe in this Janice theory?
Yes, I do. Even more so now. I think she played you big time.
Really? And why would you say that?
Look, as you just mentioned, Janice went in the house before me. I mean, she could literally say anything she wants to clear her name. There are no witnesses. I mean, she could be lying about seeing someone flee. I mean, what proof do you have that any of this actually happened? What, Janice's word? Do you think a convicted murderer is going to tell the truth? Of course not. They're going to lie about everything. I mean, why in the world would you believe anything that she has to say? I mean, what has she done to earn your trust?
Well, honestly, nothing. But if she did kill Daniel, then why are her prints not on that gun?
She could have easily wiped the gun down and placed it in Daniel's hand. I mean, did you find anybody else's prints on the gun?
No, we did not.
Well, there you go.
All right, your theory about Janice is certainly a possibility, okay? Maybe she is lying. But see, if we go with that, then we really do need to explore all possibilities, Charles, and that includes you.
You already know that Janice went in the house before me, and you know that I have absolutely nothing to do with this.
Do I really know that, though?
Yes, you do.
See, Charles, I don't know. Okay, I don't know, because we are both aware that you are very capable of putting on a very good performance.
What are you talking about?
Charles, I am talking about that little performance that you put on for the security camera, in which you tried to make it seem like the reason that you were at Daniel's house was because you were there to pick up some of Emma's belongings. Now, what is there to say that you weren't the one that entered through the back door? I mean, you could have easily gotten the keys from either Emma or Rebecca, right? You go inside the house, okay? You kill Daniel. You're the one that wipes down that gun. You put the gun in Daniel's hand to try to make it seem like a suicide, and then that's when you hear someone at that front door. Now, in a panicked state, you flee, okay? And you're in such a rush that you forget to shut that back door. Now, here's the good part. You later come back to the house, all right? You come back to make it seem like you were there for a completely different reason. Now, you know that that front door has the security camera and it's going to record you, which is great for you because now we can account for your time. So you enter the house, you come back out with some of Emma's belongings, hence making it seem like that was the reason for your visit. So yeah, Charles, maybe you are right. Maybe Emma and Rebecca have nothing to do with this. Maybe they are simply trying to protect you. So what do you think about that theory, Charles?
I think you have an incredible imagination, and I think you'll make up whatever shit you have to close this case. That's what I think. But I am done cooperating with you. I'll speak to you again when I have an attorney. But for now, we're done.
Charles, did you kill Daniel?
No, and I told you we're done.
All right. Well, look, Charles, you don't have to answer any more questions today, okay? But you do need to stay at the station for just a little while longer, right? Now, we are almost done, and then you can go home, all right?
Whatever, that's fine.
All right.
Okay, that went somewhat well, I guess. But now we got both he and Emma wanting to lawyer up. I think we're at the end of our rope here. We need to make a decision. There is a lot to consider here. Many possibilities of what could have happened, but ultimately, there is only one chain of events that's correct. You've got plenty of evidence and footage to steer you in the right direction. I trust you to put the pieces together. But let's make sure we get this right. First, I want you to look things over carefully and let me know who you think committed this murder. Once we've nailed that down, we can discuss things further. All right. Take your time and get back to me. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hey. Okay, so you think Rebecca killed Daniel, huh? You know, I actually think you hit the nail on the head here. I do trust your judgment. And even though she doesn't seem like she has it in her, it really does seem that she's the one that killed him. Now, I know you looked everything over carefully, so I'm sure you have a fairly decent picture of what actually happened, even if there are a few holes that still need to be filled. But listen, what I'm about to say stays between you and me, okay? Considering everything that went down with her mom and Daniel, and the reasons Rebecca would have for killing him, it's still most likely murder. She may be able to get out of this in court, but she could very well end up in prison for a very long time. And honestly, I'm not sure that she deserves that. Her life could be ruined at such a young age. Now, what I'm about to say can get us in some pretty deep shit. Maybe even fired. But I can always claim that we didn't find enough probable cause to make an arrest. We can let her go home. And if we're pushed to continue the investigation later, Well, then we'll deal with it at that time. But for now, we can let her go. I'm really not sure what to do here. This whole situation is just really complicated. Now, your decision-making has been great so far, so I'll follow your lead on this one as well. Think things over. Give me a call back and let me know if you want to move forward with charging Rebecca, or if you want me to let her go. I'm willing to accept responsibility for our actions, regardless of what we do. Just be prepared to do the same. All right, talk to you soon. Hey. Okay, let's charge Rebecca. I'm with you. Like I said earlier, I think you hit the nail on the head here. All the evidence really does point to her. It's just unfortunate that she's gone and screwed up her life at such a young age. But I guess actions do have consequences, right? Look, I'm sure this was a hard decision to make. I respect your judgment. Sometimes we just gotta do what's right, no matter the circumstance. I get it. All right, let me grab Rebecca and formally charge her. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
All right, this is a continuation with Rebecca Humphreys. So look, Rebecca, after reviewing all of the evidence and the statements made today, I am officially charging you with the murder of Daniel Murphy. Now, Rebecca, did you hear what I just said to you?
Yeah, I heard you. Yeah.
So is there anything else that you would like to add to your statement today before we take you into custody?
I didn't mean to kill him. I didn't mean to kill him. It was an accident.
So Rebecca, I don't understand what do you mean by you didn't mean to kill him? Oh, come on, Rebecca, no more games, no more lies, all right? Just tell me exactly what happened, please.
Okay. Me and my dad were driving back to his house the night that Daniel threatened to kill me and my mom. I told my dad I wasn't comfortable with him having a gun inside the house because I thought he was going to do something stupid and try and kill me or my mom, kill both of us. So I told my dad that I wanted to go to the house in the morning and check if Daniel was there. And if he wasn't, I wanted to go inside the house and try and find the gun and take it. Obviously, my dad was not okay with that idea, and he told me not to do it, and I told him that I wouldn't do it. I told him I wouldn't go.
But you didn't listen to your dad, and you went there anyways.
Yeah. I went back the next morning, kind of early, I think it was between 8:30 and 9. I was just checking to see if he was there, and when I checked, his car wasn't in the driveway like it usually was. So I thought, okay, this is the perfect opportunity. And I didn't want to be seen on the front security camera. So I went through the back. Like I said, I thought he wasn't home, but to my surprise, he was. He was passed out on the living room couch. There was alcohol everywhere. But the gun was sitting right there on the coffee table. So I went to grab the gun. And when I grabbed the gun, that's when he woke up. And Everything happened really fast. He got up, he charged at me, he was grabbing me, he was trying to grab the gun. And somehow we just ended up in the bedroom. And we struggled for a few seconds and the gun went off. And he dropped and he stopped moving. And that was it. That's what happened.
And then you placed the gun in his hand to try and pass it off as a suicide, is that right?
Yeah, that's what I did. I tried to make it look that way.
And I'm assuming that you wiped down the gun to remove the fingerprints, is that correct?
Yeah. I used my shirt the best that I could. And before that, I tried to put things back that had fallen during our struggle because I didn't want it to look like anybody else was in the house that day. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know if it was gonna work. I was scared. And as I was putting the gun in his hand, I heard the front door open. I didn't know who it was. I thought maybe it was my dad and that maybe he had come to try and find the gun and take it instead of me, but I honestly didn't know who it was. So I left. I left as fast as I could and I went out through the back door, and that's why the back door was left open. I didn't have time to shut it. I was scared.
So did you tell your parents about all this?
No, I haven't told anybody. You're the only person who knows, and it was an accident. It was a genuine mistake. I didn't mean to do any of this. I didn't mean to shoot him.
Well, look, I am sorry for everything that you had to go through, okay? I really am. Now, the unfortunate truth is that I do have a job that I have to do, okay? And that means that we do have to take you into custody. Now, you will be able to, explain all of this in court, and I do hope that things will actually, go your way. I do. All right, but for now, yeah, I need you to stand up, all right? I need you to stand up for me, okay? I need you to turn around, okay? I need you to put your hands directly behind your back, all right? You stay just like that, Rebecca. All right, you can sit down.
I didn't mean to do this. I'm sorry. It was an accident, and you have to believe me when I say that.
I know. Now, I am going to go get some officers, okay? And they will be able to escort you out of here properly, all right? All right.
Well, it looks like we successfully solved this case, huh? Great job. All your hard work today really paid off. But wow, if she was telling the truth just now, then what happened to her is pretty screwed up, and sadly something she's going to have to live with for the rest of her life. But again, that's if she was actually telling the truth. Was it self-defense? I have no idea. The only person that knows that for sure is Rebecca herself. But what we do know is that she is the one that pulled the trigger that killed Daniel Murphy. The rest is up to the courts to decide. Again, great job. Thank you. All right. Until next time, my friend. I'll talk to you later. Bye.